Good morning. This is Wood with a quick check-in. Some of these developments in the heavyweight division, just caught my attention. And what I'm referring to is Tyson Fury, the WBC champion, or whatever his status is. He's now issued a challenge, went out on social media and issued a challenge to AJ. I think maybe he later came back and clarified that the split would be favorable, like he wouldn't try to be heavy-handed with the money, for the simple fact that the Usyk fight doesn't appear to be something that can get done by the end of the year, and Fury may not want to. Fury may be wanting to avoid, a lengthy period of time outside of the ring. It's tripping some of these guys up. Being inactive, it's tripping some of these guys up. So I credit him, if this is what he if this is what Fury wants to do, and he's serious about it. I think one of the last messages that Anthony Joshua responded and said, "Hey, just shout at 258 management, all this stuff out in the public. I don't really want to do that, or I don't do that. I'm not gonna play any games for you to get any clout and whatnot." So Frank Warren has come back, the co-promoter or the UK promoter of Tyson Fury has come back and said, a serious offer or a formal offer will be sent over. There's been some discussion with his son and Eddie Hearn. A lot of stuff going on for there not to be any, for it all to be fake. After Josh was lost to Usyk, I did a little short video, I just did a video to talk about what Joshua's options are and how the guy could how he could step back and fight at a lower level, and how many fights could he do that? Was it really possible? We see Jaime Munguia, when he switched over to Eric Morales, I believe is his trainer. We saw that Munguia has kind of been given this pass over several fights. I didn't really think that was possible with AJ, a fighter of his magnitude. I didn't think he could be kind of like off Broadway or, over to the side in a series of smaller fights so he could rebuild himself. I didn't think he could get past one, maybe two was pushing it. So for a couple of weeks later, with this type of opportunity supposedly in front of him, I think it's pretty interesting. And then even before that, I think AJ himself, I think the plan was for him to try to make a return in December anyway. So this kind of lines up, the opponent might have been a Dillian White or a Derek Chisora or maybe a Zhili Zhang or maybe a Filip Hrgovic or whatever. Maybe Otto Wallin. But now, to go to Tyson Fury is pretty intriguing. I can't lie. But I do think it's a critical decision for Joshua, because is he 3 losses in his last 5 fights, or 2 losses in his last 6 fights, or whatever it is, and then 2 in a row to Usyk. Now we can halfway run along with the reasoning that Usyk is just totally wrong for AJ. I'm willing to kind of accept that. He did look a little better in the second fight, and I actually had some positive takeaways for AJ as a fighter in that loss. But again, a smaller guy that moves around like that, that is a horrible matchup for him. But still, going into this type of fight, traditionally you would like a guy to be coming into a fight ascending, or, you know, trending upwards. And we wouldn't be getting that here. But this fight is very appealing in the UK, somewhere in Great Britain or whatnot. So it's possible. For AJ though, unless there was some kind of, there's been some previous experience, you know, some sparring or something, and he's very he believes he saw something, or he is confident in what he was able to get done in any kind of sparring. Although it had to have been a while ago if it happened. But if he feels good about it, this is an instant cheat code to get back in the title picture. And it's a meaningful fight. I mean, if you're gonna have these if you're gonna fight on, this is definitely the type of fight to fight on in. It's still arguably the biggest fight in the history of Great Britain. You know, and I think it can work. I do. But I think there's an easy out for AJ if him and Hearn were to discuss this and do the pros and cons of it, and they came away thinking that the timing just isn't right, and we need to focus on our own business at the moment. If you really intend to fight another 5 to 7 years or whatever it is, I think the easy out is the fact that all you got to do is look at Tyson Fury's record and see how he what decision he made at a similar juncture in his career. Fury was switching trainers after having a draw against Deontay Wilder in the first fight, and maybe not being pleased with his showing against the fighter that he probably felt he was markedly better than. And he took the 2 fights against Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin to adjust to Sugar Hill Stewart. And delayed that rematch with Wilder until he was ready for it. Or until he felt comfortable moving forward with that. So, I mean, that's the precedent right there. It really is. You know, of course, you know, I mean, in trying to give AJ this fair deal, you know, not going with the 80-20 or 90-10 or even the 75-25, you know, whatever would be traditionally acceptable based on the fact that, you know, Josh was not holding any titles or anything. But to come and say, well, here's a 60-40 split to make it worth your while and be respectful of what you have accomplished. Yeah, it looks like a good deal. But the fact of the matter is, you know, another camp with Garcia, if that's how he plans to move forward, another camp, a full camp with Garcia in another fight with Garcia, it might be warranted to kind of have. But when it's actually the athlete and a career, it's potential earning on the line. It's a lot more things to consider. You know, you got to be prudent. And so, either way, I would be if he said he, you know, we looked at it and considered everything, and we want to fight, good deal. If he came back in a couple of days or a week and said, hey, you know, we chopped it up, we looked at it a bunch of different ways, and we're gonna pass on it, good deal. It's just, you know, sometimes that's the timing. And I mean, even from Fury's perspective, if he was to blow Anthony Joshua away in 6 to 8 rounds or something, say that happened, well, would there not be any criticism about, well, you took a guy who just went 0-2 against a middleweight or blown up middleweight? Would that not be how it was summarized? So it's a little bit at risk for Fury, but like I said, it's an easily marketable fight. It really is. So we'll see what happens. I'm very excited about this weekend with the women's doubleheader over on ESPN. All of the teams are over in the UK at this point. You know, they're going through the fight week activities. You know, with the press. You know, the grand arrivals. I didn't see any media workout. I don't think I've seen that yet. Maybe that's today. Press conference probably tomorrow. Friday the weigh-in. Saturday the fights. And that's, you know, we have Claressa Shields, the unified middleweight champion, against the WBO middleweight champion Savannah Marshall. Both women are undefeated. You know, that's the main event, and then in the co-main event, unified. I keep forgetting to check this out. I think it's junior lightweight. I think it's what they are, 130 pounds. But unified junior lightweight champion Michaela Mayer against can't remember what title Alicia Baumgardner has right now. I want to say WB. I'm not sure. I want to say WBA maybe. But anyway, 2 good fights. A really big rivalry, both, you know, good rivalries between both in both fights, with the history between Savannah Marshall and Shields going back to the Olympic fight. I'm excited to see this one and get this settled. I still don't really have a winner in either fight. I have some things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for answers Saturday night. You know, I'm looking for answers. I did check out some of the, I did get to check out a couple of seconds of the amateur fight back in the day between Savannah and Claressa. I still see some remnants of what they used to be at that particular time in their careers. And I thought Marshall, I was impressed with her movement against Claressa. I think she slowed things down a little bit more now and kind of has that irky-jerky and some feints, and the in and out is a little different. It's a little slower paced than what it was in that fight. Maybe it's a little more, it's a better game plan of how to get walk through the front door and whatnot and set some different things up, you know, transitioning to a pro style or, you know, pro game and whatnot. So that was kind of promising that we'll actually see some decent boxing in that fight. My concern with Claressa Shields is I would just like to see her not approach this as a counterpuncher looking to knock out or hurt Savannah. I would hope that she plans to come forward and mix it up herself and be on the attack a little bit more, not be on the back foot waiting. I don't think I think she can fight in that manner and still get a victory fighting in that way. But I think for a more entertaining fight, I'd like to see her step forward at times, at least at times. Similar to what we saw against Christina Hammer would be my hope. And, you know, looking at Marshall, I just want to see, can she do what she's been doing against these lesser opponents? Is she able to pull? Can she land a big right hand? You know, can she fight in her normal style and be effective, or does she have to switch up to a plan B or a plan C? Like I said, things didn't go well at all for Christina Hammer, who was very experienced. She completely got handcuffed or undressed out there, as they say. So I'm interested to see that. And if she does go down 5 or 6 rounds to Claressa, will she take some chances in the back end of the fight and try to create some big moments? That's kind of what I'm looking for in that matchup. With Baumgardner and Mikaela Mayer, you know, I think Baumgardner is riding high off of the definitive or the resounding statement made in taking out Terry Harper. I get it. I do think Al Mitchell has developed Mikaela Mayer into a pretty sound offensive fighter, and she has some good length, a good work rate, and a pretty, you know, she does a lot of stuff like very she's well trained, you know, and I think she has good volume. I think her power is pretty decent, and she can do some things. And I think it's probably the best offensive fighter that Mikaela, or the most polished offensive opponent or fighter that Baumgardner has seen. And I just want to, and I think Claressa Shields was spot on with her assessment of the matchup. And, you know, she's a friend of, she has a good relationship with Mikaela Mayer. So she said some things in her favor and just questioned the same question I had. If those openings and those looks aren't readily available, or Baumgardner isn't seeing the looks to take the big cut, to take the big swings, can she get away from looking for that and just go ahead and actually box round after round and get it done? And there's a couple of fights in Baumgardner's career where you could see where she was waiting and studying this motherfucker right here. Like, you can see where some things gave her some problems and kept her uncertain of when to go. So I think that was spot on statement and assessment from Claressa Shields, who I feel is a pretty good student of the game, in all honesty. I really do. So that's what I'm watching in those two fights. I saw some, you know, I saw the interview with them with Baumgardner and Mikaela shaking hands, and Mikaela was kind of making fun of the strength, the physical shape of Baumgardner, and, you know, being coy and kind of mocking Baumgardner, who had the arms out. We know she works out and is pretty strong, and does a lot of different things in the gym. I've talked to her a number of times, and, you know, she's very proud of her athletic background. I think doing some wrestling at one point, some track and field. I mean, and, you know, two completely different body types. One thing that Alicia said was, you know, you fight very upright. You know, it was somewhat dismissive of Mayer's skill set and whatnot. I think it's gonna be a pretty decent fight. I really do. Hopefully it's not the best fight of the night between the co-main event and the main event. Hopefully it's not, but it could be. It really could challenge it for the fight of the night. But yeah, so I'm very excited about that card. I forgot who else was on this undercard. I know some of top ranked prospects have all been in the ring lately. In terms of a Jared Anderson, I don't think Keyshawn Davis is ready just yet. I don't think this is his weekend. I want to say he might be on the Shakur Stevenson card, maybe. But a lot of the guys, Torres fought recently. Tiger was already in there. Shoe's been in there once or twice. So I don't know. I can't really recall who else is up on this card, the undercard portion or the prelims. But I'm excited about the night. So anyway, man, let me get on off of here. Bite down boxing, don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.